News at 12:30.
Hello. Oh no, that's Robin Day, isn't it? Good evening and welcome.
Look at us being all techie. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Nigel.
We're in the same room today.
Look at us. We have a recording studio.
So we can't hear Steve though. We're not on. Is the laptop on?
We're on 100% there.
Oh, tech issues. Oh, Rob can hear me.
Oh, we've got multiple voices.
No, can't hear you. Sorry, Nigel. We've got tech issues. Well, that's clever. We're still on camera. It's not even pointing at us. That really freaks me out.
I know, it's very peculiar.
Okay.
We've got our own Rob Moore with us today.
Should go out now?
That's good. Nigel, just speak.
Please.
Oh, no, still can't hear you. Hey, now we can hear you.
Where are we hearing though?
We have 50p, that's what did it.
Are we up full volume?
There we go. We can hear.
Right.
Fab.
Fabulous. Right.
So, I know, look at us. I better record actually. I'll switch recording off. That would really help, wouldn't it? On here. That's very good. So we have got a new setup. So we've got our own Rob Moore, the real Rob Moore.
Yeah, the
with
one
us.
and only Rob Moore.
Who's helping us, just so we're not sat in front of a Zoom screen, so we actually look like we're having a proper conversation.
But we're having to share a room, which is quite unique.
The only thing is, where am I looking?
Which
So I need to look at here,
Yeah.
which is really weird because I want to actually speak to Nigel and Steve here. This is all trial and error today, see how this goes. But yeah, it's all progress. Oh, there's Anne-Marie as well, fabulous. Yep. Fab. So welcome to the show. It's probably going to be a bit disjointed today, I think, because it's all new. I think
it's going to go like clockwork.
All new stuff. We've got a live audience, well, in the room audience. Maisie's here as well. I'm sure she'll make an appearance at some stage.
Awesome noise, yeah.
Hello, Anne-Marie. Thank you for joining us today. As you can see, we've got a different setup.
Yep.
We're going
We're getting along.
We will be the one show
We're
before
getting along.
You know it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know who I'm going to be, but...
So this is going to be really weird because obviously I usually speak to Neil on the screen. And I'm going to be speaking to him in person. So thank you very much for joining us. It's Thursday. Well, it was 12:30. It's now 12:36. So thank you very much for bearing with us while we got this set up. But it's amazing to have you all here. It's.
So I'm going to start with what's new in your week, your world this week.
Oh, new in my week. I've been back in my dipper, back in my pool.
Back in your pond, yeah.
6 degrees it was this morning. I must say that all I did was I leapt in, stayed for 10 breaths after I'd got my breath back and come out, and I did that 3 times. So that's what's new in my week. And I'm in week 4 of my Couch to 5K as well. So that's
week
really
4,
good.
That's good. Yeah.
Week 4, so I'm persevering with that.
So why are you doing it?
One, I was a bit bored of sitting on the sofa. So definitely Couch to 5K.
I thought you were going to say my husband's company there for a minute, but
I was a bit bored of the winter nights, and the weather's been so nice. I thought I'd get out there. I used to run back in lockdown when we lived in Nayland. I used to run because it's beautiful, beautiful countryside, and it's beautiful countryside where we are now in West Burgolt. So I thought I might as well take advantage of it, and we've signed up for Race for Life as well.
Yeah,
at
so
Colchester Castle Park.
we're looking for, I mean, it's obviously for cancer research, but we're looking for team members.
We are.
So if you want to come along, I'll be heading up the walking 5K, and Jackie will be heading up the running 5K. So if anyone wants to join us just for a stroll, is that Colchester Castle Park?
Yeah, July.
Beautiful, beautiful setting. I don't know if anyone's ever been to Colchester Castle Park, but it's glorious. And it'll be a fun day. There'll be hundreds of thousands of people out there raising money for good cause.
Our aim is to raise £2,000 for cancer research. So even if you don't want to come and spend the day with us, then a donation would be amazing. But I'll put the link in all the various groups. So if you want to either join our team.
That's the ideal scenario. You'll join our team and you'll start to raise your own
if you want to do that,
donations and put them all in one big pot at the end.
So I'm going to run it. Neil's going to walk it. So the options are there. Don't feel pressured into running.
I may break it out into a jog. You never know.
I've just realised something actually. I was going to put this on live stream on Facebook. Stream. That's the word. See, look, I'm all
the right letters, just not necessarily in the right order.
I'm all discombobulated. So excuse the top of my head while I just.
So you're going to have a concentration face, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm going to.
So what I'll do is then I'll go through the news.
Cool. You do that.
And that's peculiar as well, because I was looking at you and now I'm not, but you can still see me apparently. So the news, there's quite a bit going on really. So I won't be able to cover everything, but obviously there's big news around leasehold, freehold currently, and this has been going on for a lot of years, but the first steps are in place. So leasehold and freehold is going to become common hold and freehold. And the first steps are in place where you used to have to wait. If you purchased a leasehold property, you used to have to wait 2 years, or one of the options was to wait 2 years before you of ownership before you could apply to extend the lease. Right. But that has now been scrapped. It's been abolished, so you can apply for an extension immediately of ownership. So I think that's pretty good news. I think that's a real positive.
Definitely.
But we'll see what else comes with that. But I do think, I mean, we've used the short lease strategy to our advantage over the last couple of 2 or 3 years, and we'll continue to do so until it changes, which means we can add value with the paperwork exercise rather than getting your paintbrush out. So it's quite a niche area, but we've had some really good deals out of lease extensions, paperwork exercise, adding huge value to the properties. And like I say, that's going to come to an end, which I think is a positive in a wider sense of things. But for us, obviously, that will impact one of our strategies. Quick look at house prices. They went up in February by 0.4%. So again, that's a positive. We've just, talking of capital growth, we've just offered one of our rentals to a tenant of ours to see if they want to buy it. We're sort of having a bit of a shuffle about, change of strategy, sort of consolidating a few bits and pieces and then going into bigger stuff is the plan. So we decided we'd get potentially offload some of those that the new mortgage product is going to hit the cash flow significantly. So the better strategy is to sell them and recycle the money, reuse the money. So we bought that property for $82,000 right at the back end of 2018, and we spent far too much. We overspent drastically, so we spent $37,000 on it, refurbing it. But we got a revalue of 160, so it meant we got all our money out. In 2019, it was valued at 160,000. Sorry, did I say 260? 160,000. And now potentially we're selling it to our tenants for 190. So that's pretty good capital growth in 4 or 5 years. So
we near enough doubled its value by doing the refurb.
Yeah, bought it for 82 and got a revaluation of 160. So that got all our money out on the refinance.
And another 30 grand on top.
And then another
plus
30 grand capital growth plus the cash flow over the last 5 years. So it's been 5 and a bit years now. So it's been quite a lucrative deal, that one. And that was our first ever deal. And that's one we own in our own name. So the only issue really is tax.
Yeah, but we've already had a conversation about that.
But yeah, we've worked out the numbers and it seems to work in our favour. So that's really good. And then, yeah, moving on to house sales, there's a predicted that 74,000 house purchases are going to miss out on the stamp duty threshold, as in they're not going to get the deal across the line before the 1st of April, 31st of March. So they're going to have to pay the higher rate stamp duty. And they reckon that 25,000 of those are first-time buyers.
Whoa.
And the other 49,000 are home movers. So, yeah, there's going to be some big tax made by the government there. Good old government. I think they've stitched us up a bit, or these people up a bit. I think if you're in conveyancing when it was announced, you should be able to see the deal through at the applicable stamp duty at the time. So I think that's a bit of a stitch up. But hey ho, they're not listening to me, are they? And one last bit of news, which is, again, could work hugely in professional investors' favour, is commercials and EPCs. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the government have stated that they want commercial units to be EPC rated A or B to become lettable.
Oh my goodness.
Which 83% of commercial units in the UK currently are C or below. So there's going to be a massive investment from landlords, commercial owners, that to get them up to. But again, it creates an opportunity, because if you work the numbers out, they still haven't set the exact criteria. So I'd wait before you start doing any refurbs to get them to an A or a B, because the goalpost might move in 2026 when the new criteria comes out. But it creates a huge opportunity to buy these below market value, bearing in mind what you need to spend on them to get up to an A or a B, and then rent them out.
I'm just thinking, where does warehouses fit in, like these massive spaces?
Well, they're not all warehouses. They're offices, all sorts of commercial units.
But there's it's guidelines again, isn't it?
It's
the throwing it out there and then not following it up with.
But it's all about
with
being
anything.
energy efficient, which ultimately it's okay setting all these goalposts and this criteria, but the government aren't paying. The investors are.
No.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Oh my goodness!
But
It's just
expensive
so
potentially, or
much.
huge opportunity.
Well, yeah, that's
Because
how we
people are
see
going to
it.
get out rather than spend the money.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they're only going to be worth what someone's willing to pay for them.
Yep. We say hello to the people watching us on Facebook, because we have got some people watching
we're
us
streaming
live
on Facebook.
Hello to the newcomers on Zoom as well. Hello to you. Thank you for coming and watching us. We're in a new format today. So
I can't quite see who we've got on.
I know. We've got John, we've got Steve, we've got Anne-Marie, Nigel, and Rob Moore. But Rob Moore is here.
He's in the house.
He's with us. Actually,
He's literally
with us.
in the house.
Yeah, I feel like we have made it, because we have got a production team.
Dizzy heights now. Dizzy heights. Yeah.
Maisie's asleep on the floor, so she's obviously not interested at all in what we're saying.
So that's the news this week.
Mate,
there's a lot more than that.
There is so much going on at the moment. I mean, we've had EPC announcement, obviously the renters' rights.
Renters' rights
that's
bill
coming. The leasehold freehold changes. So, and even that may be due to change as well. The leasehold freehold as well, because the government feel like they need to. I think they just need to put their
Well,
stamp
it's
on
definitely
everything,
going to
isn't
become freehold, common hold rather than leasehold, and they're already potentially banning new leasehold flats. So there'll be common hold, freehold.
Yeah, no houses will be.
No houses will be leasehold,
which I actually 100% agree with.
I agree with that. That's just a money-making scam from the builders. But other news. I mean, we've. This is quite interesting, actually. We've served notice on a tenant again, because we plan to sell it and recycle the money and do some bigger deals. And the tenant took it very well, saying, actually, I don't need a 3-bedroom property anymore because children left home. So it's good timing. I can downsize a bit, save a bit of money. And then within a week of serving notice, we got a letter from a solicitor's company based up in Liverpool stating that we hadn't put their deposit in the correct scheme. And we owe them owe her as a result £6,100. I don't know where that figure comes from. So we just referred that to our letting agent, who produced the paperwork stating that it was in the correct protection scheme, and also showing the tenant's signature on that to prove that she was aware that it had gone in the right scheme. And that was all done. I mean, this is why you have to have the right letting agent. It was all done in such a timely manner that everything was ticked, I's were dotted, T's were crossed, and we were in the clear. So there's just a chancer. This is the tenant trying to get some money, thinking we're going to cave in and not fight our corner. And we've done everything by the book via the agent, because we only deal with the good agents. So that was she was a bit of a chancer there. And then in the same within a couple of days as well, we got a letter from the council saying that they want to inspect our premises because there's been a report of mould and damp, all as a reaction of us serving notice and having stated to the agent that she was going to go quietly because she doesn't need a property that size anymore. So I can't quite understand what her motive is now, because she wants to move. So why get the council involved at this stage? But anyway, the council went in yesterday. The tenant wouldn't allow us to attend with the council representative. So we asked our agent to represent us on our behalf. So we got a report back from the agent yesterday saying that actually the council were very much in our favour. We'd done everything right. She'd caused most of the mould by putting a tumble dryer in a larder cupboard that had no power and no ventilation in it, and it wasn't a condensing tumble dryer, so it's just creating moisture. And that room, that little cupboard now is black from top to bottom of mould that she's created. And the only recommendation was, where we had air bricks fitted to create better ventilation, they're saying that they're allowing too much airflow, so we need to restrict the airflow. So it's we did what was right, what was recommended by I think it was Colchester Damp and Timber at the time, who were experts in that area, and now they're saying, actually the criteria has changed. They've discovered that they're letting too much airflow in, so now we've got to restrict them, which is fairly straightforward. So yeah, it hasn't got a real issue. It's just the tenant trying to sort of, I don't know what she's trying to achieve, really.
No, I don't either, apart from just break down any relationship she's got with us, which is working. Yeah. But hey ho.
But there you go. So that's the joys.
The joys
of being landlords.
But it isn't all bad stuff.
That's not doom and gloom, because it's actually highlighted. We've done everything in a timely manner. We've done everything right, and the case was almost closed before it opened, wasn't it? So,
and that's one. I don't want anybody to feel like tenants are awful, because we've got lots of tenants, and that's just one. So we only got one. And as long as they pay the bill and the property cash flows, then really it's just general public, isn't it? Just people you have to deal with every now and again.
Human race.
It is humans. Talking about humans, actually. It's World Book Day today. You haven't come dressed as your favourite book character.
Oh, you don't know that.
So I've got a little a pile of books here. I've just sort of looked for books, actually, that I feel like have inspired me and helped.
This one's quite interesting, because I'm in the same room as you today, surrounded by idiots.
Don't be offended, anybody but this is a really good book. But I just thought I'd give you a little selection of books that have really helped me with mindset and just being an entrepreneur, being in the world of property. But I just wanted to ask you first of all, Neil, because you're not a reader. you read, as in you'll read the news snippets. You read snippets.
Or read
rather than-
headlines, rather than
You're like the attention grabber reader rather than sort of the deep reader. But you have started reading this year.
Yeah, I set myself a goal.
So I'd like to know, actually, get your phone out. I'd like to know your last 3 books that you read on Audible, because what I'd like you to share...
That's a contradiction, isn't it? Reading on Audible.
Well, because I love a physical book. And if I'm in the car, then I do listen to books, because obviously you can't read and drive at the same time, which is a little bit dangerous.
Surely you can.
But you've really hopped on the reading this year. So I'd just like to give some tips on if you're a non-reader, because you really do struggle with that sitting still for that length of time. That's just not in your nature at all, to sit and focus for that length of time. So top tips, please. First of all, what your three last listen tos on Audible, and your top tips for getting into books if you're just not a reader.
So the last 3 are not necessarily my favourite, but the last 3, or the 3 I've read this year, well, listened to this year.
I know, but that's great, from going from nothing.
And I've gone back to one to listen to it again. So it's Key Person of Influence, Go for No, which is just phenomenal. And what was the other one? The Slight Edge. So they're the 3 that I've consumed this year. And I've gone back to Key Person of Influence to actually, you don't really come in my office, but I've decided to listen to it in my office and write stuff down as I'm listening.
Excellent, love that.
But as far as top tips to getting into Audible, I don't know what people... I really struggle with focusing my mind. By that I mean is I can easily drift off into a deal or in something I've viewed and need to write that down while I think about it. Oh, I've got a phone call. And that's the problem. I need to turn off notifications. I'm easily distracted. But it is a case of, if I'm reading a physical book, I don't feel like I'm reading it quick enough. I'm very impatient. If I'm listening to it, I can speed it up. So I can do 1.5 times speed, and I believe I'm still taking in more doing that than I would be reading it.
Well, if it works, it's horses for courses, isn't it? If it works.
Yeah,
but
and
I listen on top speed.
But again, you have to train yourself, because meditation, everybody says I should get into meditation because I don't switch off. I don't focus and concentrate on anything that long at any one time for a duration. So everyone says that I should get into meditation. But that's something you really have to practice, because even in meditation, you suddenly realise that you're not listening at all to it. You've drifted off to something else, and you're thinking about a viewing you've just done, or a deal, or someone you've got to get back to. And, well, I don't really what's for lunch, because I know that you'll never serve lunch, but so it never enters my head, to be fair. Your lunch, literally. But yeah, so I had to really practice meditation. The way I overcome the drifting off was by breathing. Is it called box breathing?
Yep.
So I'd box breathe so that I stayed focused on the meditation, and to some degree, and now I do that a bit when I'm listening to a book, so that I remain focused on what's actually going in through my headphones.
So if you've got any recommendations on books, then let us know. Pop it in the chat. It would be great to just have your take on what you're reading at the moment, or the books that have inspired you as well. I mean, I have put, like, everybody talks about the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books. So there's 2 actually. So there's the original one, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So his original one, which introduces you to actually like investing and a different way of life and getting out of the job or from being in a business, so a job that you've just created yourself, so you're actually working in the business. So it talks about getting away from that and investing in assets that can bring you income. And then the part 2 is Rich Dad, Poor Dad 2, and that talks about the cash flow quadrant, and that is all about, that's when the investment starts as well, about taking your earned money and turning it into investments that then pop the money into your bank account without you having to do anything. So I'm going to call it passive income.
No such thing.
It's probably like 80% passive. There's always something you've got to do,
There's
to be fair.
no such thing as passive income. And the reason I say that is because it's your business and nobody's going to treat your business like you do. So you still got to focus on it.
So daring greatly, is that Bren Brown? Is that how you say that, Steve? Bren Brown? Breen Brown? Daring greatly. I'm going to write that one down. Brené Brown. There we go.
Daring greatly.
Daring greatly, yeah.
Right,
I
'cause
love a book
the screen's pointing at you,
recommendation.
so I can't really see that.
Love a book recommendation.
Yeah.
Brené Brown. Wonderful.
Awesome. That's another perk.
Alternatives to watch her on a TED talk. She's really, really good.
Love a TED talk as well.
That'll be in the Amazon basket now before you know it. Before we're offline, that'll be in the Amazon basket. Believe me.
You see me like suddenly tapping away, you know what I'm doing.
So you have hardback, paperback, the whole lot.
I'll probably find it on Audible
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, and PDFs. I can stick it on my Remarkable. Yeah, I stick them everywhere. So I've always got them at hand. Amazing. So your top tips are for getting into books if
you're not a
reader.
great reader and you've never tried Audible, obviously, because and you know, depending on your car, etc., play it through your car as well. I mean, ours are now programmed so that it comes straight on when you jump in, so you're straight onto a book rather than the radio.
Rather than Radio 1 or 5 Live.
You're too old for Radio 1. Come on. Too old for Radio 1.
So what else have I got here?
I do interrupt the book for 10 to the top so I can brush up on my music skills.
Because you're now a Radio 2 listener.
Only for half an hour while the quiz is on, music quiz.
So what else have I got? I've got here The Slight Edge. Oh, Neil's already mentioned Key Person of Influence. I've got multiple copies of that. I don't know why.
Oh,
like
there
all
you
over
go.
the place.
Not in my basket.
The Slight Edge is really good, just about daily micro actions, about just doing simple things but great results, because they all come together as one big action, compounding effect. That's what that talks about.
And this one, 12-week year, that actually changed our business during COVID and lockdown. We decided, because you got, we call it made redundant. She was sacked. Right at the beginning of lockdown. Well, it wasn't made redundant because they'd have furloughed you.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So
No.
you got fired.
Thank you.
But we implemented, I mean, it was a great thing, really, in the long run. At the time, it was a bit traumatic because we had no income. But, and that's only 4 years ago, so almost to the day. So we implemented the 12-week year. And basically what you try and do is meet all your year's targets in the first quarter of the year. And we blew ours away that year. First year we implemented that.
We did. It's about having focus. So you instead of having like multiple big goals, you just focus them a quarter at the time, and then your results are just much easier to achieve, and they're just quicker.
Also about not drifting along, because it's quite easy. This is why we run shorter mentorship programs, is because we want people to keep the momentum going. What happens if you say, I've got a year to do that? You don't do anything. You don't actually get going and get started, or you start to run out of focus because you think, oh, well, I've done some really good work in the first quarter. I can dull it down a little bit now, and then I can pick it up again later in the program. But our programs are all about keeping the momentum and getting the results quite quickly. And this is what this focuses on, is keeping the momentum. To keep focused for 12 weeks is a lot easier than it is to keep focused for 12 months. So that's where we take some influence.
I'm just thinking about your nice segue into this book, actually, that wasn't planned at all. which is
What is it?
amazing. So Brian Tracy, really good author.
Oh, I haven't read that.
Goals.
Or listened to it.
So we're told to set goals all the time, but it's about how do you actually achieve those goals. And so this book talks about adding the actions into your, like actually attaching them to your everyday things. Like if you're going to go for a run first thing in the morning, is to get prepared the night before. So have your water bottle ready, lay your clothes out. So all you're literally doing is
Oh, I do that with my golf stuff.
getting up.
Yeah.
Exactly, there we go. Getting up, putting your running clothes on, grabbing your bottle of water, and then you're out the door. So it's all about doing the prep and also attaching like the reasons why you want to achieve this goal. So I'll go back to running again. When I first started running, I don't enjoy running, but I enjoy the results of running. I enjoy the achievement of running. So it's thinking about all the good things that running brings you, not just like the health benefits, but it was, I'm in beautiful countryside. I get to buy myself some new running gear. You know, I'm enjoying the sunshine, I'm enjoying the scenery. It's all those sorts of things. So you're thinking about what actually the goal brings you, not just the actual goal itself. So yeah, so with running, you get all the fitness, you know, lose weight, smaller body profile, all of that sort of thing. But whilst you're actually running, it's like, you know, look at my surroundings, you know, and the achievement of what I'm doing. So that's why actually Couch to 5K is really good, because it's really short little spurts of running, but because it's on an app, I can see how far we've come. And actually I can look into the future. We had a look yesterday of what next week is going to change next week. I might not be so upbeat about my Couch to 5K next week with what's coming.
Well, I'm looking forward to the transformation.
Well, there we go. There we go. But yeah, so goals, Brian Tracy, really just changes your mindset into setting goals actually, and not just what it brings you, but all the things, putting them into place, how to bring them into your everyday, and how to attach them to your everyday activities as well. So you sort of like bundle them up. So if you know, we brush our teeth and we brush our hair every day, I hope, that you attach them to those sort of activities, things that you do without actually thinking about them.
I don't brush my hair every day.
Well, maybe not you. Well, you might brush your beard, maybe. I don't know.
I might.
And the last one, these are super helpful. So we had the pleasure of meeting Dr. John DiMartini last year, an amazing speaker. So if you ever get the opportunity, or have look him up on YouTube, or just give him a bit of a search. So John DiMartini, but he's written quite a lot of books, and he is an amazing speaker. We've seen him a couple of times.
We saw him in 2018 when we went on our first ever boot camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he's the one that you sat and was like mesmerised by, which was...
I did sit in a classroom for 3 days, yeah.
You did. So the values factor talks about understanding other people, which, you know, if we're in a people's business, then understanding why people react in certain ways, or why things are important to us don't come over as important to your partner, your family, your business partner, whoever it might be. And the values factor really puts that into perspective, so you can understand why there's so much conflict in relationships, and also how to have better relationships, whether it's in business, whether it's in your family, and how to get people to do stuff as well, because you relate to them, their mindsets and their personalities, not put it in our perspective, how we can then put it into the other person's perspective. So that's really good. And then that brings me to this last one, which is my most favourite title. It's Surrounded by Idiots. So it's on the theme of humans and human personalities. Again, understanding why we're all wired differently, because Neil, I can tell you, is wired very differently from me, I'm sure.
Which I'm very pleased
You'll
about.
agree with. And then it's just understanding, you know, why that is and how to deal with those types of people. And then after reading this book, you can identify people within your family, just people that you meet, and it makes it so much easier to communicate with them and understand why they act like they do. So yeah, really, really, probably one of my favourites is up there. This one, Surrounded by the Earth.
I think it's very important to realise that everybody's different.
Oh my goodness,
It's,
yes.
I mean, I listened to a couple of controversial people on TikTok, and just this week, both of them, one's male, one's female, they're quite controversial, which I quite enjoy, but they've both had a lot of negative feedback about their opinion, and they've basically said, well, do you want to sort of follow someone that you agree with the whole time, or do you want someone else's perspective on something, someone else's opinion? And they said, well, are you only following me because you want me to agree with me with everything I say, which is ridiculous. So both of them basically said, they're not linked at all, but they both basically said, well, if you want to agree with me the whole time, you might as well just unfollow me, because you're never going to agree with all my opinions.
It's just not worth watching,
So just,
is it?
Unfollow and go. So it's really quite interesting.
Wonderful. Okay, so I hope that was useful. I know that actually was a lot longer segment than I anticipated.
I never know what's coming.
So I thought we'd just zhuzh this up a little bit this week, as it's all new stuff. And I'm going to do a bit of a get to know you quiz.
Get to know me?
Yes.
It was a bit late, isn't it?
Obviously, I know you quite well.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Now, if you've got any questions that you want to ask Neil,
Ugh.
like ones that might be making him feel a little bit uncomfortable,
I'm not sure.
throw them in the chat. Throw them in, because I've actually got some questions.
Worryingly, I can't even see the chat from here.
So throw them in there. If you want to, I'm going to just pass. Don't ask me them. I'm asking Neil them. So I'm going to step out of this gracefully. So yeah, if you've got any questions that you want to ask Neil,
the most common one is most common question I get asked. Someone's fallen over. Is
John.
How does it work working with your wife?
How does that work? Go on, then answer that.
I've become very tolerant.
Acceptance. That's
And
all
I can count to 10 without fault now.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for these?
Oh,
Are you ready?
I have no idea.
Ready? Okay. So if you've got any questions, stick them in the chat. I will happily throw them at Neil. So, if you could have any superpower for 24 hours, but it had to be a mildly inconvenient superpower, what would it be? So, I'll give you an example. So, say you have the ability to perfectly organise any drawer, but you could only do it at 3 a.m. in the morning. The superpower only works like at 3 a.m. What would your superpower be?
Well,
You can feel free to answer this question as well. This isn't all at Neil. I'd love to get to know you better as well. So if you had a superpower...
so is it in business or any walk of life?
Any walk of life.
I'd like the superpower to become a scratch golfer between 7:30 and 12 o'clock every Friday.
Oh, Nigel's put a great one on there.
I can't
Thank
see
you,
it.
Nigel.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's obviously
Nigel.
coming to me shortly.
Oh, I love this one. What's the most embarrassing song you secretly love to sing along to?
Well, see, I don't think there are any embarrassing songs, because everybody can listen to a song differently, can't they? And take different stuff from it.
So name one then. Name one that you... Maybe the secret...
Well, it'd have to be DISCO by Ottawan. Has anyone actually ever heard of that? I'm not going to sing it.
Oh, God, no. Just give us a little rendition.
No.
Okay.
I think they were Dutch.
I don't know.
Ottawan, the band was.
Don't know. That's showing the age gap a little.
It was probably probably in the 80s, I'd have thought it came out.
When I was at school.
I think I was in Magaluf.
If your pet could talk for one day, what is the first question that you would ask her?
How irritating do you find Jackie, your mum?
Oh, thanks. Mine would be, what are you barking at? That would
Yeah,
be
that's
mine.
a pretty good one
That would be
because
mine.
it's just random, the barking. So yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah.
What's a food combination you enjoy that most people would find weird? I have got one in my head that I hope you'll say.
Well, I don't know. It's cheese and peanut butter together. Yeah.
That's what I thought you'd say.
Yeah. Cheese and peanut butter sandwich. Lovely.
If you could have a conversation with any fictional character, who would it be and what would you talk about?
Fictional. I don't really do any of that, do I? Fictional character.
No, passing on that one.
No.
Anybody? Anyone want to answer? If you could have
It's
a
like
conversation
having
with a fictional character.
It's like having a like a celebrity you think you really fancy. What's the point? What's the point? You know?
What's the silliest thing you've ever spent?
You're watching whoever on the telly drooling. What's the point?
Wow, it's just titivation, isn't it? What's the silliest thing you've ever spent money on?
I wish I've had some prep time. The silliest thing I don't know. I don't know.
Anybody? Anyone want to answer?
Well, probably if you really weighed it up, what's the most stupid thing you spent money? It'd probably be cigarettes or cigars, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What else? Oh,
I bought a lot of them in my time.
And the last
to be
one,
fair.
and then I'll ask you. Oh, Nigel's got a little list now.
Historically, I bought a lot of them.
What's a useless talent that you possess?
I can show you.
There we go.
There you go.
Ta-da!
What a useless talent.
Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da.
I bet thousands of people can do that.
Fab. And then Nigel's asking, oh my goodness, this is deep. Nigel's asking, what is the most important piece of advice you would give to everyone?
Be true to yourself. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, I think that's
back
big.
yourself. Yeah, I really struggled with that self-belief, which a lot of mentors that we've had over the years have knocked out of me. But it was the self-belief, the belief that I could do it, that would happen to us. I struggled with, didn't I? Self-confidence. There's lots of reasons for that. I've got, I won't go into the reasons, but there's lots of reasons that I really struggled with self-confidence from a business point of view. But yeah, back yourself, and I know everyone brandishes it about, but if we can do it, you can do it.
Do you know what? That phrase usually makes really great on me, but it is so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see the multimillionaires
We're very ordinary people.
Standing, looking all shiny and flashy, and they say, if I can do it, you can do it too. But you think, yeah, but look at you. You're very different from me. So, but that is true.
They're not.
Self-belief.
They're not very different.
No. Well,
they're just a few steps ahead.
Yeah, but it is very true. It's self-belief.
All the cliches coming out here, but
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. If we can do it, we're just very normal.
As they can see, very normal.
I didn't quite finish my schooling. It was a request that I left. And the parting words were, "You're unemployable." And my first job I was in for 20 years. So find what really sparks that inner desire to succeed, something that you're passionate about. And I found that in property. And it's the first time. Actually, I found that as a technician initially, because I became a Saab master technician. There was only 70 in the country. So I found something by accident that I was very good at and I enjoyed. And typically what everyone does, you try and climb the ladder and get higher and higher, and you end up in a job you really dislike, with more pressure. And if you weighed up the hourly rate based on the hours you work and your money now, you're probably earning less. So it's about finding something that really sparks your interest and gives you the desire to push forward and make a success and do your best at.
Amazing. Thank you. Nigel, I will put your other two questions over, but I've sort of got a segment just for that, those two questions.
Oh, hurry up.
I know.
Oh, hurry
I know.
up.
Can we believe it? Only got 15 minutes left. Now,
I thought this was property banter.
Well, we're now going into something property. So this week with our mentees, we're talking about the leasehold freehold changes, and we basically went through how freehold works, how leasehold works, and the opportunities that it brings if you really understand, basically what freehold and leasehold looks like and all the nuances behind the scenes, things that it doesn't matter how much YouTube you watch or how many books you read or articles, you are never going to know everything that actually comes until you're in the mix and you're actually doing the deals, or you're spending time with people like Neil and myself, who have created tens of thousands of pounds through extending leases and understanding what a great deal actually looks like.
But we've actually been educated in the leasehold, freehold, soon to become a common hold scenario, but we've also implemented that. So we've also uncovered or discovered things that aren't taught.
Because
the one that we did bring up on Tuesday with our mentees was the fact that we were unable to put a mortgage on it because another flat within that block had sold and hadn't been registered on title on land registry yet.
Yeah.
So that was ahead of ours, which meant the mortgage company wouldn't lend to us because ours wasn't actually officially registered.
So I just wanted to share, just very quickly, just an example of knowing the ins and outs. So being educated, being with people like Neil and myself, people that are walking the walk, talking the talk, can actually bring you, a massive rewards. Buying properties that nobody else wants, but understanding how we can solve problems. So there was a property, we talk about this one quite a lot actually, a little flat in Harwich that we purchased, which from a normal person, an onlooker, looked like it was just like, could potentially be the worst deal ever to get into. It was going through auction. I think it'd gone through twice.
Three times it went through.
3 times it'd gone through auction.
So I went in post-auction.
We put an offer in. We were, what we like to do with an auction is we wait until the auction has taken place 3 times. Any unsold properties, we then take a look at those properties, have a look to see what problems there are, potential problems, and then we look to see how we can actually solve those problems. So that's our sort of strategy when it comes to auction. We've only ever bought once actually live with an auction, which is a dangerous game because emotions are running high, the adrenaline's
we happened to be in a service
racing.
station. We had to pull over the bid.
Goodness.
Yeah.
You get all the pressure of the salespeople from the auction house and everything. So we like to basically have a look to see why these properties haven't sold on auction. How can we fix those problems? Because if we know how to fix those problems, then we know we can put in our cheeky offers, and then because the offer is low, and that means that then we've then got the cash to fix the problems once we've actually got the possession of the property. So I'm just going to, hopefully this will work. I'm just going to share a screen and get to.
Do you think you could turn that slightly so I could see it?
I'll just do it without knocking everything off. Can you see this? So just thumbs up. Steve, Nigel, can I just have a thumbs up if you can see that? Fab. Lovely, thank you. And our Rob Moore, our technical director, production team.
Got a thumbs up,
There's a
yeah.
thumbs up. So this is Victoria House in Harwich, a little 1-bed property. It's a little bit grubby.
Can I just say that this sign here is quite significant? And
Okay.
That's not the one that we bought. That isn't a
So
sign.
the one that we purchased here is the top floor. Now the things that were wrong with this is the reasons, there was multiple reasons why this particular property just wasn't selling. It was had a tenant, a long-standing tenant in there on a very, very low rate. There
About
was
50% of market rent they were paying.
there was no tenancy agreement. There was no deposit. So for the normal investor, the one sort of like the vanilla investor, it just was of no interest because it looked too scary. So low rent, no AST, no deposit. There was a letting agent looking after the property, but really they'd just been instructed by the owner at the time just to create the lease agreement and collect the
No
rent.
one knows what you're laughing at.
I know, sorry, Maisie was just
Maisie's
pouring
the dog.
at Rob wanting cuddles. So that was one quite a significant problem. The second problem was that the lease itself was super short. The owner just was not interested in extending the lease for some reason. Was there a third problem? I can't remember. It's just in a bit of a wreck. It was a bit of a wreck inside as well. So
It needed a refurb, yeah.
It needed money spending on it. So there was, multiple reasons why this property wasn't selling.
We had no heating.
Yeah, the storage heaters had failed. Yeah, there was slight leaks and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, completely unappealing to the untrained property investor. So we could really see the potential in this because we knew how to fix those problems. We extended the lease for £1 once we were in control of the property, once it actually was in our possession. So we managed to extend the lease from, I think it was sub 80 years, it was 65 years, I think, wasn't
65 years, yeah.
We extended that and £1 solicitor's fees, we got that extended. We have actually subsequently got rid of the tenant, which will enable us to give the property a facelift and we'll be able to get more rent for it. So these are the things we knew that we could fix. So bought it for 51,000, haven't really spent a lot on, conveyancing fees and getting that lease extended. And then the refinance, we were lucky actually to have a desktop refinance. I didn't want to go and view it physically.
Yeah, but that was because there's it's purpose-built block of flats. So the finance company did a desktop valuation rather than a visit, which really worked in our favour because it's not, let's be honest, it's not worth 95,000, is it?
Not in its current
Not
state.
in its current state.
But we got a reval of 95, so £44,000 just for understanding what the problems were and understanding how
to solve them.
How to solve them. So, I mean, you think we spent 25 grand on property education. So this one property has actually
spent a lot more than that over the years. Yeah.
But it's getting this knowledge, how quickly you can actually pay back any training fees. And it is just that continual learning, continually understanding what problems you can solve, and that's what makes you a really, really good property investor. So I just wanted really to share.
Yeah, so if we very quickly move on to phase two, you can't see my pen, but the for sale board in the bottom is really quite significant because that was on the market the same time as we bought the one on the top floor one. And what they'd done in that one, because we could see through Rightmove the particulars, they'd created a second bedroom, and it's exactly the same footprint as ours. So they created a second bedroom and they actually sold it for 115. It was marketed for 120. They sold it for 115. Bear in mind, we bought ours for 51. So that's a significant uplift. And we're just now heading into phase two now the tenant's gone, where we're going to refurb it, convert it to bed, and then when our 2-year mortgage product is up, we'll then refinance it at the new value of 115. So so we can give it a further uplift. So just thought I'd talk you through that. And it's about research, doing a due diligence to see what the maximum value, and it's got to be realistic, and that's the thing. And that proved how realistic it is, the fact that that sold the same time as we bought.
So we just thought we'd share with that how that works.
Sorry, Nigel.
Go for it, Nigel.
When did you bought it? When did you buy it? How long ago?
Oh, about 9 months, something like that. A bit longer than that, actually.
A year ago.
So you bought it for cash?
Yep.
Yep.
You bought it for cash, and have you done nothing to it?
Extended the lease.
Extended the lease for £1 plus legal fees.
So at the moment
No. We've mortgaged it now.
So you mortgaged it as it was before.
Yeah.
Yes, based on the valuation that the mortgage company gave
But
us. Yeah.
all we did was extend the lease. That was it.
We had, as I said, the mortgage was delayed because there was basically a queue at land registry. So there's one in the same block before ours. So in the end, what we had to do is we had to contact that solicitor and ask them to expedite it to get it registered. So then ours could then be registered. And then we got the finance, but they wouldn't finance it until it was actually registered and showed on land registry that it was ours.
So it just shows the importance as well of having a great solicitor, having a good power team around you. Just looking at Maisie snuggled up to Rob. She's having a lovely time. But yeah, it just shows that, you know, if you've got the right people, the right team, that your solicitors will definitely work with you to get things done. And our solicitors worked with us. We throw all sorts of things at her. They're never straightforward stuff, but then that's where the money is. The money is in the awkward ones.
And there's, as far as expediting it to get it registered, there's particular wording you have to use. So if we can release that to you if ever anyone needs it.
Yeah, well, actually, that brings me very nicely on to March 22nd.
Yes.
So we're about to wrap the show up. Can you believe an hour has gone? It's amazing. These always go so quickly. So March 22nd, if you'd like to come and spend the day with Neil and myself, Nigel and Marie, I'm afraid Steve's in deepest, darkest Germany. And if you're going to fly
he could
over,
make the effort and come back.
Find a cheap flight and come over.
There's a Holiday Inn right nearby.
Yeah. Come and see us. So yeah, if you want to come and spend the day with Neil and I, then March the 22nd, we have got a workshop. We'll be going through all the foundations of property investing, so you can do those deals just like Neil and I do. So you know the basic how to find an area, what's a flip, what's a flop. I'm loving that phrase at the moment. What's a flip, what's a flop? How to really make the most of an area. How to identify, you know, the perfect building for the perfect strategy. Know how to be that solution provider as well for, oh my goodness, all the changes that are going on in the property market at the moment.
So often we get one-to-ones booked with us from another education company, and it's always, I've got this great deal, whether it be rent to SA, whether it be buy refurbished to SA, buy refurbished refinance, flip, whatever. But what nobody seems to do first is do their due diligence on, does that strategy work in that area? And more often than not, they've gotten the deal before they've looked at the demand.
Yeah, so
you've really got to, what we're going to go deep into is how to master and make sure you've got the right area for the strategy you want to implement, because not every strategy currently works in every area. It doesn't say that it won't eventually, but it is very area specific at the moment, especially the likes of SA, HMOs as well, and converting properties to flats. Where we invest is flat saturation zone, which covers most of the area, most of lower stuff. So to buy a really nice old property that you think you can split into 4 flats is just a no-no, but people get caught. They don't do the research first.
So if you want to
we're
come
going to go right through that, right from the basics, right from the beginning, aren't we?
If you want to come and join Neil and I and know what traps not to fall into, know how to absolutely nail your investment area, nail the numbers, because I know that one is the biggest challenge of all, because once you know the numbers, that means that you can invest in anything, do any strategy, and really understand what the returns are going to be on your investment. So March the 22nd, head over to MoneyTreeMastery.com. You can buy your ticket there. There is a 50% discount at the moment, which the discount code is Formula50. That will run out on the 15th of March. They've only got 9 days to get those discounted tickets. Usually 97, it's 48.50 at the Mo. Yeah, so head over to MoneyTreeMastery.com and buy your ticket. Yeah, and we'd love to see you on March 22nd. Full hospitality. Neil and I always love to put on a great spread.
Yeah, all you need to bring is an open mind, I don't know, pen and paper, and a good appetite for both learning,
And for
learning and
food.
food. Yeah.
And for food,
See,
yeah.
this is the trouble in the same room. Interrupts. You see, I'm not sure I like it.
So yeah, so just head over MoneyTreeMastery.com. Come and spend the day with us, with Nigel, with Anne-Marie. Hopefully John Cornish, even though we're looking at an empty corner of his room at the moment, but John will be there as well. Come and spend the day with us. Enjoy the event. Enjoy learning. Yeah, and we can create the perfect blueprint for you as well. So you can either buy your first or next property using our system. So it's amazing. So we're at the end of the day.
There's another question in the chat, isn't there?
There is, yes.
Very quickly,
very quickly. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Nigel has asked, do you wish you had started property investing at the start of your working career?
Ultimately, I'd never have been mature enough or disciplined enough at the age of 16 to get into property. I would have, I was a bit of a chancer then, so I wouldn't have done it right. I'd have gone down the wrong road, I reckon.
I think you have to have it. It comes at the right time. It arrives at the right time, doesn't it?
And I started as the lowest of the low in the motor trade and worked up to become the dealer principal. So I did every sort of job role in the motor trade, which sort of geared me up to be a bit more business savvy, a bit more disciplined as well. I took a handshake because we got bought out, and I didn't like them, they didn't like me, so it was a really tough year. The year working for them, you can remember that, I'm sure. And then we agreed that they'd pay me to go. That's possibly when I wish I'd got into property, because I had a nice bit of money and free time. Because you were working, you were keeping me.
Again. I think property...
So I wish, no, I don't wish, you can never have any regrets, but that was 2013. So if I'd have started then, 12 years on, where would I be now, property-wise? Just don't know, do you?
No.
No regrets, no.
I truly believe that property comes to you at the right time, because you have to have that resilience, have that passion. There has to be quite unless you're brought up in the world of property investing, I think there's something that clicks in your brain that suddenly says, I need to invest in property. Yeah, there's something. So I think it arrives with you just at the right moment.
But yeah, I mean, I love the chase of a deal. I love winning the deal. I like getting it at my price, not what they want. And then I don't like all the paperwork that goes with it. But that's where we're a really good team, because we've got totally different skill sets. You've got a fair amount of patience around paperwork, and I just want to shred it all. But so, yeah, we're quite a good combination, really. It works well.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Mr. Dobson.
Well, Mrs. D,
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you, everybody who's joined us today. It's fab to spend this hour with you. Thank you, those who are live on Facebook as well. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming and spending your lunchtime with us. We're always here on a Thursday, 12:30. Don't forget to tune in next week and see what surprises I'm going to throw at Neil then, and see who joins us. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers.